Welcome to Good Grief, the podcast where resilience meets reality. I'm your host, Dr. Christine Malone. In this podcast, we delve deep into the stories of individuals who've triumphed over tragedy, adversity, and trauma. In every episode, we bring you raw and honest narratives from guests who faced life's most challenging moments head on. Through candid conversations, they share their journeys of resilience, shedding light on the strategies, mindset shifts, and support systems that empowered them to rise above their darkest hours. Join us as we explore the profound depths of human resilience and discover how, even in the face of life's toughest trials, there can be light, growth, and yes, good grief. Hello, listeners. Thank you for listening today. This episode, I do not have a guest to interview. I'm just going to talk a bit about a topic that's actually quite important to me, quite personal to me. It is about a deeply emotional and complex topic. It's called baby boxes. So these boxes are provided under safe haven laws, and they're meant to allow parents in crisis to anonymously surrender their newborns. While this may seem like a compassionate solution, it raises some profound questions about the layers of grief, desperation, and systematic failures that lead women to come to this choice. So I recently saw an article from a paper in Texas, and it was about baby boxes. And the boxes itself don't make me horrified as much as the concept of what it represents. So Texas is a state with some of the strictest anti-abortion laws. And I couldn't help but wonder, what kind of grief and desperation must a woman feel to believe that leaving her baby in a box is her best or only option? Are we, as a society, truly supporting these women, or are we failing them? So what are baby boxes? They are secure, temperature-controlled devices installed in the exterior walls of fire stations or hospitals. They allow parents to safely and anonymously surrender their newborns without fear of judgment or prosecution. Here's how they work. A parent opens the door to the box, triggering a silent alarm. They put the baby inside a bassinet, and a second alarm notifies emergency services. Once the door's been closed, it locks automatically, and emergency personnel retrieve the baby from inside the building. The Safe Haven Baby Box organization states that their mission is to prevent illegal abandonment by providing a last resort option for women in crisis while maintaining complete anonymity. So, an overview of the Safe Haven law, it allows parents to surrender their babies up to a certain age, usually 10 days old or less, without fear of prosecution, provided the baby is not harmed. The law exists in multiple states, including Texas, where these baby boxes are installed. The law provides a safety net, but it's important to note that it does very little, if anything, to address the root causes of why women feel the need to put the baby in their boxes in the first place. Imagine the emotional turmoil a mother must endure to make that decision. I can't imagine it is a choice made lightly. It's one born of grief, desperation, and often a lack of support. So statistics, the baby boxes were first installed in Indiana in the year 2016, and since then, 42 babies have been surrendered in those boxes. In 2023 alone, 16 babies were surrendered. However, there's no national database tracking these numbers. The full picture is really unclear. What we do know is that states with strict abortion laws like Texas are seeing an increase in the use of baby boxes as more babies are born into unintended circumstances. So in one story in Knoxville, Tennessee, a baby was surrendered just 30 minutes after its birth. The child has since been placed with a loving family. While this may seem like a success story, it underscores the urgency and lack of options these mothers face. So when we think about the broader context of abortion laws and unattended pregnancies, since the Roe v. Wade fell and abortion is now illegal or heavily restricted in nearly half of all U.S. states, this has resulted in an estimated 32,000 additional births annually. For many women, particularly those in poverty or abusive situations, carrying a pregnancy to term isn't just challenging, it's devastating. As one researcher put it, we don't need more places to leave babies. We need to fix the problem before it starts. So when we talk about the politics of baby boxes, they've become a symbol of a larger political strategy. They allow lawmakers, particularly those who are pushing for stricter abortion laws, to appear as though they are addressing the challenges of unwanted pregnancies. But let's be clear. Baby boxes are not a solution. They're a Band-Aid, one that lets these politicians sidestep the real issue. By offering baby boxes, they can claim they're providing options for women while simultaneously stripping them of the ability to make their own decisions about their bodies. Once critics would argue that baby boxes are performative compassion. They look good on the surface, but they divert attention from the underlying problems of poverty, lack of healthcare, and insufficient access to reproductive rights. As a systemic issue, what we're seeing is a political tactic that prioritizes the preservation of restricted laws over minimal support for women. By focusing on baby boxes, lawmakers avoid addressing why women are in these situations to begin with. Inadequate access to contraception, comprehensive sex education, affordable childcare, and health care. This message of these laws, it sends, is chilling. We care about the baby after it's born, but not about the woman who carried it or the life she might have to endure after giving birth. This kind of neglect doesn't just perpetuate the cycle of grief, it makes it worse. So, when we think about the critiques and the controversies of baby boxes, concerns for mothers, critics argue that baby boxes fail to address the needs of the mother. These women often lack access to healthcare, mental health support, and financial resources during pregnancy. Without face-to-face interaction, there's no opportunity to ensure the mother's safety or provide her with counseling. Concerns for children, for the babies, there's also challenges. Unlike traditional adoptions, adoptive parents may not have access to the child's medical history, making it harder to provide adequate care. And cost and maintenance. Installing a baby box costs about $10,000 to $16,000, not including the yearly maintenance. Is this cost justified when only 37 babies have been surrendered nationwide since 2016? So, are baby boxes the right solution? Proponents would say, if it saves even one life, it's worth it. That's a powerful sentiment, but is it enough? Critics would argue that we should aim higher. As one adoption advocate put it, let's conduct thoughtful research and create policies that prevent crisis pregnancies rather than just react to them. So, when I think about baby boxes, I feel a mix of heartbreak and anger. Heartbreak for the mothers who feel they have no other choice, and anger at a system that doesn't do enough to support them before they reach that point. I'd like to urge all of us to think critically about what we can do to support women and children, whether it's advocating for better health care, increasing access to birth control, or fighting for reproductive rights. We need solutions that address the root causes, not just the symptoms. So, in closing, I'd like to thank you for joining me in this conversation. Baby boxes are a complicated issue, and while they may save lives, they also highlight the many ways we fail women in crisis. Let's continue this dialogue and work toward a future where no woman feels like her only option is leave her child in a box. Thank you for joining us for this episode of Good Grief. We hope that stories shared today have inspired and empowered you on your own journey of resilience. If you want to dive deeper into the themes of trauma, tragedy, and survival, be sure to check out my memoir, The Day I Became the Spider Killer, a memoir of trauma, tragedy, and survival. In this book, I shared my own raw and honest experiences, offering insights and strategies for overcoming life's toughest challenges. You can purchase the book on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, or listen to it on Audible. Your support helps us continue to bring these powerful stories to light and spread a message of hope and resilience. Stay tuned for more incredible stories on our next episode. Until then, remember, even in the face of life's toughest trials, there can be light, growth, and good grief.